Shibbidi-bap-bap-boo-da-bates, life hacks to a better way. Shibbidi-bap-bap-boo-da-bates, time to talk about how to sit with your spine, with your hips, with your neck in a better way. Today we're talking about how to sit in a better position if you're gonna sit. So I'm gonna give you the 10-second version of why sitting might not be such a good idea. Sitting creates tight tissues, as you know. And sometimes with tight tissues, you get injuries, you know. And sometimes with tight tissues, you never know. You might just be sitting in a wretched position, even though you thought you were in a good position. But you know, you're not in a good position, so you'll never know what your full potential is as a human being. That's a wrap. So now that we've got that out of the way, we're going to go through a step-by-step sequence on how to sit in a good position. So while standing, you're going to want to squeeze your butt as tight as possible. From there, you're going to align your rib cage and your pelvis so they're facing each other. Picture them as two bowls, one facing up and one facing down. You'd want to create symmetry as if they would seal if you put them together. So the next step is to get your belly tight as if somebody was going to punch you in the stomach. Ideally, we would like to see you sitting on something that creates about a 90-degree angle using your torso and your leg, or less than that. Anything higher than that takes your pelvis and puts it into a bad position. So now that we've walked through some of the basics of how to get organized, we're going to teach you how to stay organized when you go to sit down. Keeping your belly on and not changing any of the positions of your spine, go ahead and squat down to whatever object you've chosen to sit on. Staying nice and tall and keeping your belly tight will prevent you from collapsing into this position or over-exaggerating in this position. Sitting nice and tall, push your knees out towards the walls on either side of you. Here, play around with the distance between your feet. So you can bring them out nice and wide, and the beneficial thing about that is that it also creates a bit more of a rotational effect at the hip, putting your pelvis in a bit more of a stable position. So ultimately, the further you can get your knees out towards the wall, the more stable your pelvis, therefore your spine, which sits upon that, is. Ultimately, we're looking to trace ourselves back to what the monks would do. They would sit in the lotus or in the half lotus, as I am right now, and this in and of itself creates the most stable position for the spine because the pelvis is situated in the best position possible. It creates an integrated, integral position for the entire body. It's like a rippling effect or a domino effect. You create stability in the hip, therefore it creates stability in the spine, and then it ripples all the way up into the top of your spine, leading up to the neck and into the head. So quick recap. 1, don't use the backrest. 2, find something that can get you situated in about a 90-degree angle or less. 3, sit tall, keeping your belly on about 20% tension. 4, push your knees out towards the walls on either side of you. From here, you're in a better position already to start sitting if you really do have to sit. So that's all the time we have for today, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. It is time to plug over to another channel. You can find some other videos to talk about how to restore sleep, how to build your feet, and move the body around because it's time to get down today.